I'm leaving, baby, I'm leaving. I don't want to waste my life chasing dreams with you. Dreamer, oh silly dreamer. I don't want to waste my life chasing dreams with you. Dreamer, oh silly dreamer. I don't want to waste my life chasing dreams with you. Chasing dreams with you.
Rick, would you like to read a little bit more about Jimmy Lee Young, his bio?
Yes, I would be honored to. This is Jimmy Lee Young's biography. Jimmy Lee is a Grammy artist. Grammy artist Jimmy Lee Young is of Maya, Wayuu, and Arawak Native American lineage. He is a well-known artist in Native America and abroad, particularly in Switzerland, Germany, and Canada. He released his first CD, Apache, in 2001 and was nominated in the category of Best New Group of the Native American Music Awards, the NAMMYs, in 2002. The CD also won awards at the Rock City Music Awards in Los Angeles for Best Pop and Best Rock Song, and at the LA Music Awards for Native American Artist of the Year, which he has won 3 times. In 2004, the second release, Maya, exploded onto the Native American music scene, earning a double nomination at the NAMMYs for Male Artist of the Year and Song of the Year, winning the latter. He garnered 5 nominations at the Indian Summer Music Awards, winning for Best Classic Rock Song and Best Country Song. It won a double nomination at the Rock City Music Awards, winning both the Native and Pop Song category. And again, at the LA Music Awards, winning Best Pop Song and Native American Artist of the Year. The CD was also a finalist in the Song of the Year category at the 49th Grammy Awards for the title song, Maya, a tribute to his mother's tribal people. The awards and notoriety opened the doors of opportunity in the form of tours of Switzerland, the USA, and Canada. After catching the eyes and ears of national recording company Pony Records, Jimmy was signed to a recording contract releasing the single The She-Wolf, which was released internationally to critical acclaim and garnered a nomination for Best International Song at the NAMMYs. The following release, And Yoon, saw lightning strike a third time, winning awards at all the same major award shows, adding a nomination at the Canadian Aboriginal Music Awards for Best International Male Artist, and making Jimmy one of the top Native American singer-songwriters today. With the 2011 release of Great Spirit, the 4th CD, Jimmy once again swept the music award scene with a triple nomination at the NAMMYs, 5 nominations and 2 wins at the Indian Summer Music Awards in Milwaukee, in Los Angeles at the LA Music Awards, and others. By 2019, Jimmy Lee has amassed over 47 nominations nationwide and in Canada, winning 32 national music awards, including the the prestigious Silver Arrow Award from 2007 to 2019. Jimmy Lee Young performs with a full band of 6 musicians or as an acoustic duet with drummer and founding member Gil Gabaldon II, or as a solo singer acoustic guitarist. His songs are influenced heavily by the sounds of the 60s and 70s and cross all genres from folk, pop, hard rock, and country, with a Southern California flavor wrapped in Native American instrumentation and themes. His lyrics are unforgettable, as well as his beautiful voice and soaring vocals. Jimmy Lee Young is the quintessential singer-songwriter and performer who can bond with audiences of all ages and whose performances are appropriate for any venue.
Wow. Nice bio.
Yes.
Morning, aho, all my brothers and sisters.
Makes a difference. It's really wonderful to see you in person. I was just telling these guys, your music is going to be like that classic. We talk about classic cars and vintage cars, and your music is on its way to being classic in the genre of, Native American music. Really, your voice is
beautiful music.
It's just incredible. It's timeless. Really. And I know the Maya CD, what year did that come out, in 2008 or?
We're actually celebrating the 20th year of Maya this year. This year, the 29th Grammys 20 years ago. Maya, the song, made the finals for Song of the Year.
We read your bio and, and it included that. And I just thought, wow, it's on its way to being classic, really.
Thank you so much.
It's so beautiful.
I love making rock and roll, and it's just been amazing.
Yeah. And you've always had your voice. And I think you shared with us last time that, you were singing when you were just a wee little one, like 4 years old, and entertaining your family and,
disrupting midnight mass. I think I told you that story, right?
Yeah. It's so beautiful. And of course, with the passing of Kristofferson, I remembered that story that you told. Stopping him, was it at an airport, I think? And you wanted him to know that you sing his music, and it was so cool.
Actually, we did a recording session during the, it was a benefit song for the water protectors at Standing Rock, and we were at Capitol Records in Hollywood. And we were invited. And so when I got there, I read, I signed in, and then I read the list, and there was Rosanna Arquette, and there was Francis Fisher and Gary Farmer, and I saw Kristofferson, and I told my crew, don't you wait 1 second longer than he walks in that door. You better come get me. And I was in Studio A.
Oh, wow.
And, he came in with his lovely wife, Lisa, who my heart breaks for Lisa. I just want to take a moment of silence, and I'll finish this story. But could we just take a moment of silence for Chris and his family? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
They walked in, and Chris went and signed in. He said, well, where do I go? And I said, hi, I'm Jimmy Lee Young. And you've never heard of me, but boy, have I heard of you. And this is my band, and we love you. And would you be willing to take a quick picture with us? And then we made some little conversation I probably can't repeat, because Chris was very real. He would just tell you like it is. And he was very, very kind and just such a gentleman. And I said, okay, we took our picture, and I said, okay, you ready? He said, yeah, I'm ready. And I don't know what overcame me. I slipped my arm around this man's waist, and he put his arm around mine, around my waist. And his wife, Lisa, was facing us, and I started singing, Busted Flat in Baton Rouge, waiting for a train. And she started walking backwards as I was walking him to Studio A. Right when we came to the door was the end of that first part. Good enough for me and Bobby McGee. And Lisa said, oh, I wish I had my phone on. And then she said, oh, no, that was just for me. And we had group hugs and we sang this beautiful song together and we vowed to stay in touch. And
Oh, great.
Chris was just meeting him, that songwriter. I mean, like, I was tiny when me and Bobby McGee came out. It was, of course, it was right as Janis Joplin passed away. Pearl, the album, was released.
Mm-hmm.
I was the only kid in first grade to be sad that Janis Joplin had died. And the other kids were like, ooh, and I'm like, come on, man, Janis Joplin. It was 1969. It was kids, but it was happening, 1970 by then. And meeting Chris was like, it was like meeting like one of the greatest of all the greats. He was just a gentleman with such a talent. And I could go on and on. I can't say enough. And just that day, I knew that that was a special moment in my life.
Oh, yeah, that was special. It was so cool that you got to experience that. Good for you. You've had wonderful experiences with your music. And
it's taken me so many places, and I've met so many stars and so many heroes. And, you know, usually, believe it or not, most of them have been absolutely wonderful.
yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. You know, I wanted to ask you about the She-Wolf song and how that got made into a video that just has been so popular. If you view it on YouTube, I mean, it's just thousands and thousands of people have watched it. And this incredible story that still brings me to tears. And because I know what the story is going to be, but I still get moved by that story.
Well, years ago, when I did my first tour of Switzerland, I was invited by Pony Record. They came looking for me. And, you know, when you're just starting out and the internet was internet music was all new, and I thought they were crackpots. I'm like, who is this that keeps telling me to come to Switzerland, asking me to Switzerland? And then we communicated, and I said, well, I looked him up, and I said, oh, look, some other artist had gone and done this tour. So I called my good friend Yolanda Martinez, who, by the way, was a Native Female Artist of the Year at the NAMMYs, and she's an amazing, amazing performer. And I said, do you know who Davide Buzzy is? And she said, oh, Buzzy, he's amazing, and you should do his tour. Oh, he picked you, and la la. So I contacted him, and I said in my broken Italian, you know, mi dispiace, I'm sorry. But I didn't want to say I thought you were nuts. But so I gave him the number, and his wife called me. In her limited English said, you know, I'm Davide's wife, and we'd like you to come to Switzerland. And we just did this deal. So I got there. And we started the tour, and one part of the tour was that we would be recording. And so he said, pick a song one night. And it was one of those magical nights. It had been raining that afternoon in the Alps. It was beautiful. And I went through all the songs, and this one stuck out. It was the story of the little girl who was raised by wolves. And he said, great, translate it into English. And now I'm like, oh, okay. Not only is it the translation, but it has to be poetry. So Davide, his wife Mary, his daughters Leanne and Karienne. Karienne was a little bit older, and so I said, Karienne, can you help me? So together, we sat down at night, and by the end of the little session, we had it. And I said, it's great. And I had just translated this song, and Karienne nudges me, and she says, modestamente, which means, you know, modestly. So we had a good chuckle, and we went into an old chocolate factory called Cima Norma. And it's high up in the Alps. And we went to Cima Norma, and it's just like in a movie. It was an old chocolate factory with these big giant rooms. And then there was this big little studio in a big, big room, and a window that I could see snowstorms going by. It was just beautiful. So European, so Swiss. And so we recorded the She-Wolf, and it went to the NAMMYs. It was nominated, I think, for Best International Song. Wow. And then after that, sometime after the pandemic, Davide texts me and says, hey, I have a surprise for you. And Pony Record actually had this animated video done, which proceeded to go to #1 in Italy in February.
Wow.
So we got our first #1.
Wow.
On. And now it's been submitted to the Native American Music Awards, and we're praying for a nomination.
Oh, fantastic. So it'll
Yes.
be under the music video category.
Yes. And see, this is part of what I always wanted to do is I wanted to do something for Native America. And so part of that was bringing it to the world, that Native American music should come out of the museum and into the mainstream. And I
Mhm.
credit my good friend Martha Redbone with that phrase because we all,
Oh.
I thought I was the only one that had this big, bright idea. And then when I started Native music award shows and whatnot, I saw that there were so many others. And we've all become like this big musical family now because every time
Mhm.
there's a festival or a music show, there we are. So
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
great. When we get together, it's like, we're truly, truly brothers and sisters.
Oh, that's so beautiful to hear because it's so important, that whole idea of unity and intertribal. And, it's so important these days to embrace that in whatever form we can. So
It really
thank you. Yeah, thank you for holding on to it and, you
is.
know, being there with it. It's beautiful. Uh, I know you have questions for Jimmy.
Shoot, fire away.
Okay. Hi, Jimmy. I'm Rick. Um, I always ask artists this question. Besides your music, do you paint or draw or write poetry or
I
count
like
cars on a street corner?
I chase cars. No, I'm just kidding. I like
Hey,
to
let's start a club.
I bark at the moon when nobody's around. No, actually, I like to do, I do like to sketch. I do a little bit. It's nothing professional. It's just a hobby. It's like doodling, but it's sketching. Also, I do have a passion. I have a couple of them, but one of them is I can do a medium crossword puzzle in about 6 minutes or less.
Woohoo.
And I set a timer. I put my fingers on the up and down, and I go at it till it's done. Now, these are the medium ones. It's not like the New York Times or anything. But it's a mental exercise I do, and it keeps you really sharp. And since I'm back in university, then it really, really has helped me keep my mind sharp.
Oh,
Interesting.
wow.
And of
Wow.
course, I play guitar, I doodle on the piano, and I play percussion, and these kinds of things. Oh, and I garden, so I have a
Oh,
garden.
wow.
I'm
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Good for you.
truly an old man now.
Be careful. You don't want to become old Jimmy Lee Young.
Right? I'll be Jimmy Lee old. Well, it's just like during COVID, the thing is, I needed something to do because everything got canceled. There was no
Yeah.
concerts, there was no shows, nothing.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
I said, well, I had this beautiful property I had bought. So I said, let me do something with this. So I started planting my trees, which was a dream of mine to have this garden with a fountain and to make this little Eden somewhere.
Mm.
So I did. And, this year I got my first apples, and last year I got my first peaches, and there's roses everywhere. And in the morning, I didn't realize that what happened was all the animals came. I got honeybees by the millions, and I never dreamed I could walk by a wall of honeybees around the fountain, and they don't bother me. I don't bother them. They see me as the guy with the water hose who fills up the fountains and waters everything. And then the finches came. There's about 200. And every morning, throw the seeds out like St. Francis. There I am, and here come all the birds. And then there's my cat who has mostly learned not to eat the finches. So I keep him fed so he doesn't get too hungry. Yeah. But all of these hummingbirds and butterflies and these weird moths and grasshoppers and the garden just started exploding with all this life. And I didn't expect it,
Oh, that's so beautiful. What a wonderful story.
Really? That's great. Wow.
It's the good life.
My garden story. Yeah. So yeah, it can be peaceful. And that's one thing that I always wanted was after all the touring and after all the hard work that I wished, I'm going to buy a nice place, a bigger place where I can do a lot of stuff. And, I have my rehearsal room and I have my own office and everything is it's like a Xanadu here,
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's beautiful.
Wow.
Well, tell us about the musical projects that you're working on.
Well, right now, and I'd like to send a shout out to all my musician friends who are on platforms and they're not getting paid. I won't mention any names, but this is happening. And we were all told to join these platforms and we would share in the proceeds, and then you don't see a check. And then I realized that some of them are paying as low as a 16th of a penny per download. And it's a tragedy that's happening in the music industry, and it's time to be at the forefront of a revolution. So we are going to end up taking most of our music down. We'll leave a few songs from each album up, but not all of it. And we're going to have our own store, like JCPenney or Sears or anybody else, have our own store where you can go and listen to samples for free, and you can buy the t-shirts and the CDs and whatnot. And we'll have activities where if you write in so many times, we'll mail you a CD and get those numbers up. And so this is the project, because we just recorded a beautiful album, and I'm already making the demos for the next album. So we have a gorgeous album coming out that is sitting on the shelf because I'm not giving it away anymore. I'm just not. There's no point.
Yeah.
Good.
You need to be paid. We have bills too.
Yeah. Good for you. That's beautiful. Yeah.
And there's a unifying thing there that's, music, anything is always a series of movements. Things that shake things up and change things and move things along. And sometimes when it swings too far one way, you got to pull it back and bring it the other way. And there's independent artists everywhere not getting paid.
Yeah. And then the other side of that is the venues are limited, and it's very competitive, and even the venues. I had an artist tell us a couple of weeks ago that they actually had to pay to perform their music. Yeah. And it was like, what? This is like, it's backwards, yeah.
Horrible. Yeah. Pay to play. And Hollywood was big on that in the 80s and the 90s. And I just always refused to do it, because how you paid to play was if there were 300 seats in that, or, capacity in that club, you had to buy 300 tickets, and then you had to sell those 300 tickets. Yeah. And it's horrifying that it's not work anymore. It's not paying work. It's, akin to some kind of servitude where, we'll let you play. Like they're doing you this favor, and they're not, because while people are eating the food and buying the drinks and the club is rocking, well, you should be paid for that service, for bringing in all those people.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It'd be like asking actors to work for free, to pay to be in a movie. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Oh, I hope things start turning around, but it sounds like you have some good ideas there.
Yes.
Well, we try. It's the music industry, and it is the toughest industry. And I am once again going to throw a shout out to Davide Buzzi and Pony Record, because this record company keeps music alive. And together we've created this this bridge between the United States, between Native American music and Europe. And this was our intention, that we would link people up with music. And having gone, I don't remember ever a music video that with a Native American theme by a Native American artist has gone to #1 overseas. I've never heard of it.
Right.
So perhaps we're the first.
Yeah. It's so exciting. Good for you. I love these connections that you're making, because there's a lot of love there, you can see, and respect. And it's really beautiful that you have these relationships.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And it's a blessing. It really is a blessing, because, my first Native American Music Awards, I don't remember exactly how it happened, but we met someone and she said, "Oh, Crystal Gale is performing tonight." I said, "I love Crystal Gale." And we were all backstage because we were nominated. And she said, "I can get you in to meet Crystal Gale." And my jaw dropped. And she knocked on Crystal Gale's door and said, "Crystal, do you have a moment?" And Crystal came out like she was your big sister. And I said, "The usual, hi, I'm Jimmy Lee Young. You've never heard of me, but I've heard of you." It's like, I don't want them to think that I'm some presumptuous, artist who's just, kicking their doors down. But she came out and we chatted for a while, and she hugged us and took pictures. And I said, "I remember as a kid seeing you on the Muppet Show." And in a real sweet voice, she said this. She said, "Oh, I cried when Jim Henson died."
Oh,
She had
Oh,
such a big heart.
yeah.
oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
wow.
Well, you sure do share the love when I read your social media posts and just in your music and the folks that you draw uh with you to do the music. It's beautiful.
Thank you very much. I have a Rita Coolidge story.
All right.
Okay, so we were at the Native Music Awards the year we won Song of the Year. And I was running around I just wanted to meet everybody. I was so excited.
Yeah,
And I
of
was
course.
swirling around all these stars. And shout out to Felipe Rose of the Village People, because he really kind of was the first one I met at the first Native American Music Awards. We bumped into each other at the hotel and I recognized him. And we chatted and we became friends. Well, the next one, it was like 2 later, because I skipped a year to record an album and I went the year later. We were nominated twice for Best Male Artist and Song of the Year. And we ended up winning Song of the Year. And when I came out, I had my mom with me. And, you know, mom became the show. Everybody wanted to meet my mom. And then Felipe started calling her mama, and they all call her mama now.
Oh,
So I was sitting next to Crystal Gale's guitarist, and I said, "Oh, I'd love to talk to her again." He said, "Sure, no problem." So we went out to the side of the hall there, and there was Rita Coolidge, and there was everybody, and Crystal and I just started singing a cappella one of her songs, and when we were finished, the group clapped, and my mom disappeared. And I'm like, "Oh my God, my mom's gone." Crystal grabbed me by the hand and said, "Let's find her." And she ran around that whole casino, Crystal Gale and I, at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Florida. And finally, when we rounded around, we saw my mom sitting by the buffet, and my mom had diabetes. And she said, "Oh, I had to grab something. I was feeling a little, weak." So she said, "You go into the party. I'll come later." So we walked over to where the party was, and there was Rita Coolidge herself. And Rita Coolidge is sitting there chatting, and I kind of inched my way over to Rita Coolidge, little by little. And I finally said, "Hi, Miss Coolidge," and then the usual, "You don't know me, but I know you," blah, blah, blah. And she hugged me, and we chatted, and we clicked our Native Music Awards for good luck, and it really was good luck. So I walked into the party, and then Felipe Rose said, "Come into the winner's circle," and there was this entire pantheon of stars. Casey and the Sunshine Band, a bunch of disco artists, and all these artists I was just like, wow, we've arrived. That was like the first party where I walked in and felt like this was my debut.
Aw.
Now, fast forward about 10 years, and there was an event with my good friend Linda Blair. Shout out to Linda. She has the Linda Blair World Heart Foundation, a doggy rescue in Acton, California. And there was an event, a Native event. Rita was singing, and I said, "Linda, they're offering tables, and they really wanted her to come." So she said, "Okay." So her and her assistant trucked down there to Santa Paula, I think. And we went down there, and after the show, Rita Coolidge came out, and I said, "Hi, Rita, remember me? I'm Jimmy." She said, "Of course I know who you." She remembered me. And she said, "Yeah," and I write to her often, so I go to their websites and stuff. So she remembered me. And I said, "This is my good friend, Linda Blair." And these two ladies, grown ladies, turned into teenagers. Even their faces changed. They just both lit up, and Linda was like, "I love your music." And Rita was like, "I love your movies. I was so scared." And they hugged me. It was like this moment that I had put together,
Yeah.
And then here's the capper. And then at the end of the show, we're all walking out, and there's Rita on the stairs. And I said, "Well, it was nice seeing you again, Miss Coolidge." She said, "Thank you, Jimmy." And she bent down and gave me a little kiss on the lips.
Oh. Sweet.
And as I turned around, my assistant said, "And his heart grew and grew until it burst out of his chest like the Grinch stole Christmas."
Oh, beautiful. You have fun with your life. It's really wonderful to hear these stories.
It's great. I love being in rock and roll.
Yeah. We're going to have to thumb through our LPs and play a little Rita Coolidge after, we have some old her and Kristofferson album we have here at the
Wow.
station. We'll put that on.
Right on. Right on.
Yeah.
She rocks. She has such a beautiful voice.
Yeah, it's so wonderful to be able to share this kind of music with our listeners, to have access to the turntables, CD players, and then this whole new technology with being able to, you know, Zoom interview and actually see you and talk to you in person. Um, we have a lot of fun here doing community radio.
My
So,
drummer and co-executive producer, we started this whole thing together, the label and everything. His name's Gil Gabaldon II, and he's been in there the whole way. We're the only two original members, and we've been there the whole way together. And between the two of us, we have literally thousands and thousands of records and CDs and tapes. I have old cassettes that I've never given
wow.
up. And
Yeah.
it's a huge, I don't know, the day I pass away, who am I going to give all these records to?
Think of a radio station that's out your way that would
Yeah, like
use it.
I see you've got a great collection there behind you.
Yeah. That's what I mean. And people keep donating their collections here too. That's what kind of happens when, once you get established and you have people that are willing to actually play the hard copy. A lot of people just want to do the digital now, but we're old school here at Moccasin Tracks. We like to have our hands on it. So
yeah, it's really cool that there's music is so diverse and there's so many different kinds of music.
yes.
When you think about how many albums since the 1950s have actually been recorded,
Yeah.
could it be in the millions, the 100,000? It's just so much music.
Yeah. Jimmy Lee Young, it's really great. Is there anything that you wanted to specifically, let our listeners know that we're not asking you about? We still have a little bit of time. We have about 8 more minutes, but I just wanted to make sure that you're getting it all out, everything that you want to say here.
Well, I want to thank my assistant, Russell Bryant, who has been with me I think he's been now with us about 8 years. And he's really hung in there, and he's the one who helps keep me together. He's the one who set up this little meeting between us.
Nice.
I'm the one that always ends up front because I'm the singer-songwriter. But without all of these folks, without Gil, without Russell, we're like a triad of power together. And Russell also plays percussion. So when you hear us play live, there's a full drum set, and there's congas and shakers and everything else. And it's like there's a bunch of people in a room, and it's just 5 of us. But, there's so much, if I could say anything that I would like that we didn't talk about, it would be this. Come together, love each other, make peace, make love, be as one, live as one, because we only get to pass this way that we know of one time, and we happen to be passing this way together. So let's do it together. Spread the love. Spread the love.
Beautiful. One love. Yeah. Beautiful.
One love.
It goes along with the whole idea of unity and solidarity. We had a Rastaman tell us last week, it's our only choice. We have to create the solidarity. We have to move in unity. And that's what will be, keep the human being going is our coming together. Just what you're saying too, Jimmy.
I like to bring a feeling of mysticism, a little magic. If you notice in songs like Anduyan, there's all these minor chords, and there's this beautiful kind of a mysticism that goes along with those lyrics and that poetry. And so I'd like to believe that when I look out at my audience and their eyes are bugging out and they're staring at me and I'm staring straight ahead out into space, all spaced out, because this really is part of what I do, that I'd like to believe that it is weaving kind of a little bit of magic, that they're going to leave this show and they're going to feel like, wow, they got some kind of a message that they weren't getting, or some kind of a vibe of peace and love and unity that really is needed. And it's up to us artists to help make it happen.
Absolutely. And I know you were giving thanks. I want to flip the computer around and I want to give thanks to our engineer that's sitting here pressing all the buttons. That's Carolyn.
Hey, Carolyn, how are you? Rock out! Rock out!
So it takes a crew, and with the ones behind the scene, we can't do it without them.
Right. And you are Jimmy Lee Young, and Carolyn is Carolyn Lee Hunt.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
cosmic. How many, right? How many people with the middle name Lee, right?
Right.
That's beautiful. Well, it's certainly been an honor to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us here in the North Country. And so you know, we do play your music on a regular basis, and we love it. And we consider it some of the best classic Native American music on the planet.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm honored. And remember, please go to my Facebook and my other social media, post your ads or post whatever it is you're doing, your activities, and I'll make sure they get shared far and wide.
Well, thank you.
And we'll be we're recording, and we'll use this video too that we're making and share it with a whole different audience that is through the community access TV here in Vermont. It's a cable network, but it's another audience that we want them to know about your music. So
also Pacifica too, right? And
we share with the Pacifica Radio Network, a network of community radio stations. And so thank you for being with us today.
You're welcome. I'd like to leave you with a final message. You ready?
Yep.
It's only a matter of time. Our flesh fades away, and the hills that we climb all come crashing down without one single shred of resistance. Floating through time and space, the world's always been a strange, lonely place. You've got to anchor yourself in knowing that you are immortal souls, transcending your own life and living your life on a higher plane of existence. We are dust, we are light, we are endless souls on an endless flight, all our lives seeking one fine soul to cling to and sing to. So take this night, make it right. I want to take that road we didn't take that night, until I leave this world behind me and the light takes me far, far away. We are what we are, morning star.
Oh,
beautiful.
So beautiful. Thank you so much. It's truly been an honor to have you here today with us.
The honor is all mine. Thank you so much for all that you do for us artists.
You be well. And carry on. Rock on.
Peace, love, and rock out!
Right on.
Bye now.
Bye.